Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CT Sports Talent Show. My name is Christopher Saunders. I'm pleased to have on with me three Derby seniors who've been a part of the not just the rebuild, but I think the potential popping of this team potentially this year. First, I'd like to introduce CJ Rouse is with me. CJ, say hello.
Hello, my name is CJ Rouse. I am 6'1", 260 out of Derby, Connecticut. I transferred here last year, but I played my first year in Derby. I'm finishing out here, looking for a big season.
Next, I'd like to introduce Jaylen Titus. Jaylen, say hello.
So my name's Jaylen Titus. Been here about 4 years.
And also, lastly, the quarterback. I remember this kid made some nice plays against Wilby last year. Jayzer Barbera. Say hello, man.
I'm jayzer. Play quarterback, free safety. I'm a 4-year starter here.
Guys, being able to see last year's game against Wilby, when you guys were able to win that game, and I'll start with Jayzer first, right? I mean, you made some great plays on the field, but just when that game concluded and finally, like, the win came, right? It kind of snapped the snide a little bit, right? And you guys were able to kind of finish off. I know two wins again does not seem like it's obviously not to the numbers like the Naugatucks and Sonia's. But you got to learn how, as I know Jeremy told me when I first got to know him, you got to learn how to crawl before you can learn how to walk, right? And trying to build those building blocks. For you, Jayzer, kind of take me into that as far as the Wilby game and what happened after, as far as the attitude with the team.
Going into the Wilby game, we kept our mentality high. We weren't gonna play down,
Mhm.
and we went in there and we handled business. And then after that, that was our first win in a while, and we plan to keep doing the same thing after that to keep the train rolling, keep it going.
Jaylen, I'll go to you. Kind of Derby as a program, right? I mean, you guys are one of the smallest schools in the state of Connecticut, right? In terms of not just the boy enrollment, but overall. So basically, everybody knows everybody. So I would think as a program, you guys have either grown up together or, for the most part, at least at the high school, depending, if you just came to Derby or such, but you know everybody pretty well and probably on a first name basis. How big is that if this team is going to potentially pop this year and surprise some people?
Um, I think it's real nice because we all have a good close relationship with each other. So
Mhm.
we hang out like out of practice, all that, communicate, like talk about what's going on and how we can get better as a all like overall team and just keep on progressing from that.
CJ, I'll go to you. Now, this Derby team obviously is going to need, now you three are one of the big components of that, and it's going to take each and every one of you, plus other guys on the team to kind of rise up, step up, and such, if this team is going to have an opportunity to be able to do some things, right? What are you doing specifically to help kind of carry that? Because you can't do it yourself, but you can lead by example, though.
I mean, starting off with these two guys, they're always getting the work in even outside of practice. We're always getting extra work. Practice is just bare minimum. If we want to succeed, we have to do more than the bare minimum.
Mhm.
All the guys really have jumped on that train. Even if it's like something as simple as doing sevens outside of practice, like just to get some extra work in.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna show on the field this season that we're not doing the bare minimum. Like Derby has been known as, oh, it's just Derby, like check up a win on the schedule, like before the season even starts. It's
Mhm.
not gonna be that way this season. Um, we're not gonna be the pushover team that everyone thinks we're gonna be. It's
Mhm.
it's gonna be our hard fought game for everyone we play against. Even to Ansonia, even to the big playoff teams, we're not going down without a fight.
I'll stay with CJ here, and I'm glad you mentioned that because you're right. I mean, there are teams that will look at the schedule, right? This isn't the schedule if you can see it, but if your name was here, they would say, all right, they would look past you. They would look past you to the next week or the following week, right? I mean, does that that's got to tick you off, but also kind of make the fire burn brighter? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I think um I think they've been doing that for the past 3 years, and the fire has been burning more and more even since our freshman year. We were dogs our freshman year, but obviously we're younger, going against 18-year-olds. They're not going to be able to do
Yeah.
it, do as much as we should be doing.
Hmm.
Uh, but now we are the older guys, and we are the big dogs. We are the blue bloods. We are going to take a seat at the head of the table this season.
I'll go to Jaylen next. Now, the NVL started the tier system back in the 22 season. This will be the third year of doing that. How do you like that Derby? Now, obviously, you guys want to play against the best teams, obviously, the big dogs in tier one, right? The Noggies, the Ansonias, and so on. But how do you feel that you're able to go up against the Oxfords of the world, the Kennedys, the Wilbys, the Careers, and such, right? Like, does that like something you think about? Does that not bother you? Does it bother you? Do you want to play against the big dogs? Do you not like the tier system? I just want your thoughts on that.
Uh, I kind of like how the ranks are, but I think me and like the team, we would love to go against some bigger like teams, play against them, see where we are. Not like the NBL is really small, so like it's like not. I don't know how to explain it. It's just
We see a lot of the same stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I do 100% get that. I'll go to the quarterback, Jayzer, next. Now, thinking about you and I were just, and I was, you and your teammates were just mentioning how you lost the stud, right? I call him Tyreek Hill on steroids, right? I mean, the kid could do everything. The Wilby game, he scored an offensive touchdown, defensive touchdown. I think he kicked or did something. He did some crazy stuff that game. It was crazy. I couldn't keep track of it all. But the point is, now life goes on, right? Just like with anything, guys graduate, they move on. There's going to be more responsibility. We're now not no like insult to you, but when teams were game planning, they were looking at him first before you.
yeah.
Now the roles are going to be you and the rest of the offensive staff, right? So what is your mindset with that? Because now there's more pressure on you.
Uh, I don't really think of it as like more pressure. I just think it's more of it comes down to like execution, how we execute. If we can execute our plays and do what we know, we'll be fine. Everything else comes together and works out. If we just come together and work, that's all.
I'll stay with Jay's here. What has been going on this off season rather? Because I know you guys started practice. I think today, what, 19th, 18th. I don't know if you guys practiced yesterday because of the basically near death experience we all had with all the rain, right? It was nuts. But what's it been like as far as the team, first day of practice, off-season stuff? What's that been like? What's the mentality? What's the energy been like?
It's been really good. We went up to camp with Merritt up in Meriden with Platt and Platt, Stratford, and Pomperog.
Okay.
Went up there, we competed every day. We went up
Nice.
there for a week. Then we're consistently summer conditioning, weight room, and now with OTA starting, we're learning more football stuff, especially with the big summer thing with the 2 days of football stuff during the summer. That was big. We learned a lot of football over the summer with that too.
Mhm.
Just getting at it all summer.
I want to carry that. You just mentioned about the out of season practices and such 2 times per week. Question for Jaylen. What was that like where you guys, and I kind of mentioned this to coaches and players I talked to, you kind of are like the guinea pigs to see how this thing would go. So you being one of the guinea pigs, how did that go? How did things work with that? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are your thoughts?
I think I liked it. I think it helped us a lot this summer, all this training and stuff, extra training. I feel like it's making our team a lot better.
Do you feel like I'll stay with Jaylen? Do you feel like it kind of lessens the learning curve? I don't know how many of the young guys from returning from last year or new guys were a part of this, but do you think it kind of lessens it a little bit and could maybe help with practices, the beginning of the season?
Yeah. A lot of younger guys are wanting to play like a lot more. They wanting to help the team out.
Mm-hmm.
So all coming and helping and getting extra practice, it's helping us out. So we don't have to do all this extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I'll go to CJ next. What's it been like for you as far as your side of the ball with that group, right? Take me into that. What's that energy been like?
I feel like every single day it's either me or somebody else always leading the pack. I try to make it me every day, but that's just not how that works. People have bad days, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that there's always somebody that steps up. There's never a single day that goes by that the energy's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said before, it's a completely different team. It's insane to see like the transformation from freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Like the energy, like the pride, there's everything that this team brings. It's insane to see.
I'll stick with CJ. Has there been any players that have been kind of stepping up? I know it's early and obviously pads and such, it's all that. I get that. But anybody that's really been kind of jumping out maybe in the weight room? I know one kid that kind of jumped out to me. I think his nickname was Big Country, right? I think he's this, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. I think he's got the whatever he's got with the hair. Yeah, the mullet. Thank you. I didn't want to insult him. Love it. Has he been kind of like obviously not surprising because he made a force last year, but is
Yeah.
he one of those kids that could potentially maybe make his name more known in the NVL than he did last year?
I think Big Country will definitely surprise a lot of people. He's young. He's going into a sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be an off year for him. I think he's going to pick up exactly where he left off, get better.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're gone next year, he's probably going to be carrying the torch. I can
Is
see
there
it.
anybody else in particular? Anybody else besides him?
I like Quincy Carter, number 4. I think he's gonna step up really big. Um, he's not when you look at him, he's not like the biggest guy on the field. Like he's not 6'1", like 200 pounds. Like he's a smaller guy, but when you look at his film, he has the heart, he has the speed. Like he's not one to push over either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll go to Jaylen next. Now, obviously, the season once it starts, it's just rolling, right? It's like a marathon sprint, whatever word you want to use, right? So, with you guys being seniors, this being the last of everything, right? Last first practice, last this. I don't want to speed anything up, but has that kind of come to your mind yet?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
It's like every day.
Really?
Another practice. This season might start. This basically already started. Like the game, not too long ago, it was like 100-something days till St. Paul. It's like 20 something
Yeah.
We got
days.
24.
It was like
24.
it was
Yeah,
just
we play
crazy. Like
Hopkins in 10 days.
a blink of an eye. It's right there. So I'm kind of scared how my season gonna go. How the senior year is. How fast it's gonna go.
I'll go to jayzer next. I talked to you before about the offense, right? Focused on you and the rest of the guys. And now the light is off. That's pretty cool. Never seen that happen before. And now it's back on. There you go. Jayzer, before the lights go out and we have to end this interview here. What this offense, I feel like, not to say last year it was focused on one guy, but let's be honest, it was focused with one guy in particular because he could do so many things with the ball, right? But now it's like everyone I feel like is now going to eat. How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel a lot better. Like what I was saying earlier. Now we can't just rely on here, Brian, take the ball and rush for 200 yards. We can't do that.
Yeah.
So, and even with our receiving core, more receivers are going to have to eat now because we can't just keep giving Jaylen the ball. They'll start double covering him. They'll find a way to stop him. So we're going to utilize the people that we have, the threats that we have around the field. Like he said, Quincy's going to be a big part in our receiving core.
Yeah.
We have a couple of young guys too that are some pretty good receivers that would be great to help.
I'll stay with Jayzer here now. When I was at practice before the Wilby game a couple days prior, the one thing that jumped out to me was I feel like a lot of times people look at school numbers, right? And they look at Derby and they see, I'm just going to say, I think the number was like in the hundreds, probably low hundreds, right? As far as boy enrollment, right? And they're like, oh, okay. They probably got no athletes, nothing. There's athletes. Like, again, are they raw? Yes. Are they maybe a little bit younger on the two side and need some experience? Yes. Will they probably get baptism by fire? Yes, because the numbers are small. But I was impressed by the quick twitch ability of a lot of the wide receivers. Now, were they small and they had to get bigger? And I'm sure maybe they did get bigger. We'll find out. But is that kind of put into your mind too? Like, again, that's another negative thing that people just think, and you want to prove that wrong. Does that make sense?
That I'm kind of confused on the question.
Okay, so the question is, as far as people thinking, okay, small school, no athletes, can't play. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
I think that has nothing to do with it. Like you said, we're here. We got some guys. We're raw. We got some dogs. We come to play. If anything, that makes us to want it the most. There's got a small group of guys that we've known each other since we were little kids, and now this is our last year. We want it. We want to spend with each other for who knows how long.
I'll go to Jaylen next. Obviously, this group, the senior group, has been around from the beginning, right? When things were pretty down, right? And now when you have an opportunity to be able to leave this program, however you do, and hopefully it's at a lot of wins, hopefully it's a playoff berth, and then who knows, right? try to make a lot of firsts since then, right? Last year it was getting your first win since I think it was 2019, right? That was a first. Then you win another game, okay? You build on that. Has that been something that's been talked about amongst the group?
Yeah. We came from freshman year, our season getting cut short, really no wins, everyone getting injured.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, it was a little slower. And then junior year, it was just game after game after game. We just kept on getting better, communicated with their team more, all of us getting better. And
More game.
and
That was a game.
But hey, you know what? If you want to be able to improve and try to be able to win some of those games, maybe that you let go, that's the growth, right? You talk about, I'm sure Coach Clark has talked about that many, many times. You know what I mean? I'll go to CJ here. Last question for you, and then I'll go left to right. Last questions for each one of you. What are some goals, CJ, that you have set? Now, you said you left Derby, came back, final year and such. What do you want to leave as far as your imprint on this program when you leave?
I said it earlier. We want to go to the playoffs. Derby hasn't made a playoffs in a long, long time. I think we're gonna shoot for the moon. We want the playoffs, but we want more than that. I think you know what we want. We want a ring. But the playoffs is kind of bare minimum for what we want right now. We're always gonna shoot for the moon. We have the athletes to do it. We just have to execute. I think we're gonna win a lot of games this year. And I think if we have dogs that love the sport. If we don't win that ring, we're gonna be hurt. But looking back on it, when we make the playoffs, it's gonna be we're gonna know we set the tone for next year.
I'll go to Jaylen and kind of to carry on what CJ said. Obviously, the ring is the end game, and there's so many people that want to, right? But there's only 6 teams that can get that at the end of the season. And CJ mentioned about how it's probably been since I was in high school, since the last time Derby has made a playoff. That was back in 2007 to 2011. I graduated in 2011. So when you think about that, is it more so focused on just getting past the 2-win margin, get to 3, then go to 4, then go to 5, then you start talking about playoffs? Like, is that the mentality that should be talked about right now before the ring? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think we're just giving it all every game. It's just we're not really like setting it. Oh, let's try to make playoffs and then let's hopefully get a ring. It's just give it your all every single game. We're gonna make it to playoffs. We're gonna beat the playoff teams. And we're gonna get that ring.
I'll go to jayzer. Last question for you. What is something that you want to do before you graduate from Derby? Obviously, win a title and such. I get that. But as far as yourself, like, what is something personally you want to do so that way future Derby players can kind of model after you, if that makes sense?
I want to beat my coach's son's one of his records. Coach Ray, I want to beat one of his son's records.
What's the record?
They're up there. They're up there. He has like we've seen him in the school. He got some pretty sick records, passing touchdowns in a game.
Pass touchdowns in the game.
They're up there. That's my goal. I want to aim for one of those records. I'm not sure which one I want to beat yet, but I'm gonna get one of them.
Which one of those, just to end it here, which one of those have you thought about maybe the most in your mind? Or is it just kind of a broad thing?
Probably the passing yards after I put up 1,400 last year. I want to shoot to beat that passing record, the school passing record.
And you know, another thing too is the amount of yards that you threw, that it was a quiet 1,400 yards. You know what I mean? It wasn't really talked about either, which is surprising. But if I recall, I think it was one of the top ranked in the NVL, right? So, yeah. So it's surprising. Again, it kind of goes back to the whole people just not talking about it because it's Derby. Well, maybe this year you can change that, you know?
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, I appreciate all 3 of you coming on. Jayzer, appreciate you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Jaylen, same to you.
Thank you.
CJ, good luck.
Yes, sir.
I wrap things up in the CT Sports Talent Show. So next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. Enjoy, find them all. Enjoy the day, everybody, and be well.